All right, thank you, Connor. Well, joining us in studio this morning is Tiffany Bloss, the Executive Director with the Suicide Prevention and Crisis Service, here to talk about an upcoming event in about 6 days, right? So tell us a little bit about the event, where is it, what's it about?
Yeah, so the Tompkins County Suicide Prevention Coalition is putting on a youth mental health and wellness town hall that'll be on Saturday, October 5th from 12:30 to 3:30. The event is open to all youth in the area and surrounding areas, as well as their caregivers. We're going to have a lot of great community resources on hand, and our presentation looks like TED Talk kind of conversations where we talk about overall mental health of our youth. We'll have Sean Goodman, who is an author and a psychologist at Ithaca High School. He wrote a book called How to Survive Your Parents. So he's going to talk about the family dynamics and how mental health can affect our young people. And then I'm doing a presentation on suicide prevention, some of those signs you can look for, what we're able to do, and how social media plays a really big piece into that. And then we've got our 211 organization in the area talking about a lot of the community resources that are available to kind of help foster that good mental health. This second phase of our program is going to be really focusing on the youth themselves. We've got someone from Suicide Prevention of Central New York talking about the school initiatives that happen all across the state. And then we've got many brave souls telling their individual stories about resiliency and determination and how they've overcome some of their mental health challenges.
Of course, and why are you hosting an event like this? Why kind of focus, I guess, this time on the younger kids, teens, that kind of age group?
So youth mental health is critically important to us. We are wrapping up Suicide Prevention Month right now, but it really starts with the youth, building some of those really healthy habits, being aware of your social emotional skills. This is a time that they're creating some of those coping skills, and we want to share with them some of those tools that they can use. We know that this event can be activating for some folks, so we've also made some arrangements to have a self-care space available. This isn't something that you have to come and attend the entire thing. You can come for pieces of it, you can walk away, but we've also got some counselors that are on hand if people do need to have some immediate conversations with folks.
Yeah, that's great. And I know the focus is for those kids and teens, but you mentioned there is kind of almost like a parent section, where they can also get help try to spot those signs and just, I guess, maybe listen to their kids better, or just sit down to listen with them and talk with them if their child does happen to feel, a certain way.
Yeah, anyone that's a caregiver, or even those that interact with youth or young people, or really anyone overall. We want them to be aware of some of those signs and learn how to ask that question. Are you thinking about suicide, and be in that awareness? And then what do they do after that question is asked? How can they connect to resources in the community?
Right, and there's not really one answer or one sign to kind of look out for, but, just a couple of basic things. If people think their friend, a family member, or again, their child may be experiencing, these suicidal thoughts or things like that, what do you need to look out for? What do you need to try to spot? And what should you try to do, if you're in that moment?
Yeah, it's a good point that this is very unique to each individual, and some of those warning signs are going to look different. Grades dropping, isolation, withdrawing. A lot of teenagers spend a lot of time in their rooms anyway, but looks a little different when they're going through some instances where they may be considering suicide. So kind of paying attention to those and some of those warning signs give us that permission to ask that question about suicide. And we want people to talk really openly. It's a scary conversation. It's, it's life or death, but we want people to be able to be open and brave. And then, there's a lot of community resources that are available for folks, but there's always the 988 Lifeline. We can talk to folks who are having thoughts themselves, or if they're worried about someone else.
Of course, and before we go again, what day is it, what time, where is it, and do you need to sign up, or are you able to just show up?
Sure. Saturdays, October 5th from 12:30 to 3:30 at the Tompkins County Public Library. We have free parking behind the Family and Children's Services building. We have registration on the Tompkins County website, but you can just show up. That's totally fine. And we've got a lot of resource packets that are going to be available for folks to take away.
All right. Well, thank you so much for joining us in studio this morning. Obviously, this is a heavy topic, but it's important and it needs to be talked about, right?
Absolutely. Thank you so much for having us.
Yes.